against my enemies, yeah. You see, you wanted to save you, and then learn how to
Hello everyone, what is up? I am Rob.
I am Eamon.
It is Mini Fuzz. How are you doing, Eamon?
Very well, how are you?
Good, actually, yeah. I'm coming over a hangover. I'm coming down off Mount Hangover, as you do on a Monday, and feeling good about myself.
Was it a Saturday? You had a 2-day hangover?
Yeah. Not super bad hangover, but like just enough to kind
Your
of...
mad oxygen machine not
That
killing the
helped.
hangover? Yeah, I'd say.
Yeah, maddest fucking thing with that is like I don't get acid reflux anymore.
Really?
Yeah,
With
from the
oxygen?
machine. So
The
like
Wim Hof method?
when I used to drink, like I'd have to take like fucking
Rennie's.
I was going to say escitalopram. No, not Rennie's. I don't know. One of them tablets,
Yeah.
stomach tablet. Nexium. So I had to
Right.
take them, and now I don't have to take anything. Literally
That's
drank
mad.
load of pints of cider, load of shots.
Like
didn't have any
cider
reflux.
is the
Yeah,
exact
didn't
one
have
to
any.
fuck up your...
No,
Yeah,
all good.
Very good. I'm happy for you.
CPAP is the king.
I'm very lucky in that I've never really had that heartburn thing from drinking. It doesn't really happen to me, but it happens to everyone else I know.
Yeah, it's with sleep apnea. There's like a suction pressure thing that happens when you're choking, and you're basically pulling up your stomach acid into your esophagus when you're asleep. So that's what's
creating a
happening.
vacuum for
Yeah.
it. Well,
yeah. Anyway, look, that was a good start.
That was a good start.
Yeah, I hope everyone's having a good day. Maybe you haven't had reflux today and you normally do. That would be a great day.
That'd be
then.
nice.
And maybe you don't have to take Nexiums. They're not great for you.
Really?
We've got
Bad for the old stomach.
Bad for the stomach. We've got a lot of good stuff today. We're going to talk a little bit about lucid dreaming. There's an interesting new study about that it may be another type of consciousness or something, which is fucking nuts. Really nuts. We also have a cool spooky story in an ancient forest, no less.
Ooh. Aren't all forests ancient?
Yeah, that's what I thought. But then again, well, yeah, some of them. Not all of them, actually, because most of the plantations in Ireland aren't ancient.
That's true, yeah.
So there you go. And we also do have a ghost story.
Excellent.
And we also do have a question.
That
from one
sounds
of our
like a
listeners,
wonderful...
Mr. Copperhead.
wonderful
It's a smorgasbord today. I
eclecticness.
was feeling a variety in my bones.
Good.
I'd like to remind everyone to leave reviews wherever you listen to this podcast. And if you're on Spotify, 5-star rating always helps. If you're on YouTube, like, subscribe, comment, all that stuff. And if you want to do a little bit more, head on over, check out our Patreon. We just released an episode there last week. Of an exclusive where we were talking about a whole lot of stuff. Actually, it was a good episode. You get more. You get access to our Discord. You can come and hang out and chat with us. You get ad-free episodes, all of that jazz. Eamon, if they've got a cryptid encounter, spooky story, mad dream, where does that
Mad dream, yeah. Actually, I would like to hear some lucid dream stories. So if you have any, send them to monsterfuzzpodcast@gmail.com. Did you fall asleep in an ancient forest and have a lucid dream?
What the hell? monsterfuzzpodcast@gmail.com, yeah.
monsterfuzzpodcast@gmail.com. That's where you send them.
Big shouts out to our new patron, Mr. Brendan B. Perry.
Very cool.
Yeah, very cool indeed. So basically, as I was saying there, there's this thing on lucid dreaming, and I'll take this one away, I suppose. It's basically a paper from, not the paper, but sorry, the articles from Popular Mechanics, and it was written by Elizabeth Rain, but it goes on to say that lucid dreaming isn't sleep or wakefulness. It's a new state of consciousness, scientists find, apparently. I'm always a bit skeptical when I read a headline like that.
Seems like an old state of consciousness that they've just found.
Yeah, that'd be probably the right way to put
Because
it.
lucid dreaming's
not
probably
new,
been
right?
around for thousands and thousands and thousands
It's not
of years.
new.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So for those of you that don't realise what it is, the article actually sums it up quite well and goes into it. So after analysing many previous studies on lucid dreaming, researchers have defined it as a state that differs significantly from both REM sleep and wakefulness. REM sleep is where Michael Stipe comes in and starts singing, "What's the frequency, Kenneth?"
Yeah.
To you.
If you believe that you're still asleep.
That's what REM sleep is,
pretty
which
cool.
most people have, actually. It's quite good.
Most people think it's something else.
Everybody hurts.
That's when you're having a sad dream. That's when you're having a sad dream. But like sometimes, follow me, don't follow me.
Underrated
To be fair,
band.
REM have some whopper songs.
They're underrated band.
Like we've just picked 4 class songs off the top of our head.
Night Swimming, great tune.
Oh, at the first
Beautiful
time
tune.
I ever took pills,
Yeah.
I listened to that coming down,
Deserves a quiet night.
and it was not. But it was it was an interesting
Shiny
first and
happy
only
people.
time. I should have listened to that actually. So just listen to that on the way up. Listen to Night Swimming on the way down. The one with Patti Smith, I can't remember the name of it, and he just reads a letter.
Yeah.
And Herbert is like, I take you over. Yeah, they have great, just buy the greatest hits. All you need is the greatest hits.
While we're on the subject of music, before we get too deep into lucid dreaming, everyone should check out, what's the name of the guy that I recommended to you? Alabaster fucking the Plume.
Yes.
It's a really good album. That album I sent you, I've been listening to a lot of it. It's brilliant. He's like a spoken word poet, but like it sounds wanky, but he's great.
It sounds
Like if I'm describing someone and I go, a spoken word poet that does like saxophone-y, trumpety stuff,
orchestral
and
scores
it sounds kind of like you're like, oh, that sounds a bit shit, but he's actually really good.
Well, there's probably an authenticity
Alabaster
when you
the
actually
Plume.
listen to it. Like he's just doing, I'm going to do this now. I'm going to do this now. Like, and he's into it. Yeah, I thought it was really interesting, the stuff that you showed me.
There's a track called Visit Croatia. Check it out. It's really orchestral. It's nice.
And I've heard Croatia is very nice as well, so it's a good title for a song. Friends of mine have gone on swimming holidays there, and they say Croatia.
It is. I've been there.
Lovely place. Have you?
Yeah.
I want to go to Croatia. It's
good. You should. You'd enjoy it.
Swimming holiday. You can do a holiday where you swim from island to island
Yeah.
in Croatia.
Yeah,
And you
I've
don't have
been
to
to
worry
a few.
about sharks. That's a number one fear of mine when I get
I went
on the water.
around on a galley to all the different islands.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Drinking pints. And there was like a lot of lads playing accordions and all.
I want
It was a good crack.
I want to be like the big river man, just getting hammered on whiskey
Yeah,
and
that
swimming
was
from
great, man.
island to
It was
island.
good crack. But yeah, let's get back to this.
Yes.
And yeah, basically, so they're saying it's a state that differs from REM and wakefulness. The awareness of dreaming during a lucid dream is now thought to come from shifts in brainwave activity undergone by several parts of the brain, including the right central lobe, the parietal lobe, and the precuneus. Lucid dreams were also found to have similar effects to psychedelics and LSD. Have you ever had a dream in which you realized you were dreaming, Eamon? Have you?
Yeah.
Same.
I've had a couple, but I went back into the dreamscape where I didn't have as much control. But
Right.
it's happened maybe 2 or 3 times that I'm aware of. One was there was me and a buddy of mine from primary school who I haven't seen in years and years and years. But there was like a gutted out house, and so there was 2. Let's call it like kind of like an apartment beside each other, but the front part was missing, so you could see in it almost like a video game. And we were like jumping off the walls again, kind of like inspired by a video game, that kind of wall to wall dash jump.
Prince
you
of
do.
Persia.
Yeah, Prince of Persia stuff. And then I sort of took control somehow.
Right, yeah.
And I was kind of in my body doing flippy shit. And I was aware, I was like, oh, this is mad. Like I usually can't do this. And then just after that, you know, that feeling of like running on the spot or being stuck, that started to creep up.
Oh.
And I could kind of get out of it for a minute. But I was aware that, oh, this happens in the dream sometimes. So I was, conscious of the dream, if you like, which was pretty interesting. And I think another time or two, similar thing. The other one was, again, it was flippy shit. Whenever I get lucid, I do flip. Because what would you do in your dream if you're able to do anything? I'd be like, yeah, do flippy shit. Like,
Mine was, and it talks about it in the article, and I've said it here on the pod, I used to have, as a child, like recurrent night terrors where I was like on the landing of a stairs and there'd be a stairs down and a stairs up, and I'd be in the middle part, which was a lot like the way my old house used to be. And it was pitch black all around. I couldn't see anything, and there was like a spotlight down on me. And I'd hear, like, I think it was my dad, like roaring and all this like mad angry noises and all. You're like, what the fuck? And then like he'd come out with the darkness and beat the shit out of me. Maybe he was beating
and
shit
you
out.
and you knew it was a dream?
Yeah,
Or-
and so after time,
That sounds
after
horrible.
having that a lot of
Oh, you
times,
could
I
fight
was
back.
able to wake myself up.
Or I thought you'd be like able to haymaker.
No,
your dad.
no, but
Like,
the,
yes, father, let's
but
go.
That's the lucid dreaming, has been able to wake yourself up. That's part of it. Once you can gain
Once you
control.
know you're in the dream.
Yeah,
Because
so
if
it's
you're,
like
because
meta.
I guess my ones where I was having a interesting experience, so I kind of wanted to stay there. I did have one now that it's like I unlocked a memory. I did have a dream. I used to have recurrent nightmares about Freddy Krueger because in the book center they had a book about him.
Yeah.
I remember they used to have the cafe under the
Yeah,
stairs
yeah.
years. So I was like 7 or whatever. And it was like him with the things over his the
Claw.
garden claw or whatever over his face. And I used to walk past it like that because like I was so afraid of him. I was a little kid. But I used to have nightmares about him chasing me. And then one night I had the dream again, but I was able to get like a big giant gun and blow him up.
Blow
and I
him
was
up,
aware that I was doing it at the time. I was like, this is way better
Class.
So they're my lucid experiences.
There you go.
Flippy shit and blowing up Freddy Krueger.
Yeah.
My mind unhinged.
So yeah, it basically says like when you become conscious of the fact that you are dreaming, you can take advantage of that knowledge and manipulate the dream. If you want to do something that is physically impossible in the real world, such as flying, you can leap into the air and take flight. Someone who realizes they're trapped in a nightmare can convince themselves to wake up. This is what happened to me. Yeah. This is my lucid experiences. The state known as lucid dreaming is unquestionably a surreal one. And it just got even more so. So a team of researchers led by Kagate Demirel from the Donder Center of Cognitive Neuroimaging at Radboud University Medical Center in the Netherlands, Radboud, has discovered that lucid dreaming has now been found to be a state of consciousness separate from both wakefulness and REM sleep. Which REM sleep is the state that's usually associated with your dreams, by the way, which makes this even more interesting, and is in fact associated with its own unique type of brain activity. So this was published, their findings were published in the Journal of Neuroscience. And he says, this research opens the door to a deeper understanding of lucid dreaming as an intricate state of consciousness by pointing to the possibility that conscious experience can arise from within sleep itself. Now, that's interesting because it got me thinking earlier when I was putting this in. I was like, what if they learn, like, because apparently you can refine and learn how to lucid dream and train it.
There's ways. What you do is, I looked this up before. I never did the actual stuff, but there's ways, like when you go past the door, every time you kind of knock the door and you go, is this door real? And so you'll get that pattern in your head or something similar to like that. And then when you're in your dream, you'll walk through a door or you'll do something that's very mundane and you go, is this real? And when you do that, your brain will be like, oh, it's not, it's a dream. And that sort of unlocks it is kind of a mad thing that you have subconsciousness and then like a pool of consciousness that exists in it.
But that's like what I'm saying is the scariness of that is that if you learn to like live within that, then what is reality really like? Do you know what I mean? Like if that experience becomes tangible in some way, shape or form.
Well, what's time as well if you're conscious of it? Because like usually, but then again, I wonder with lucid dreams, like we've talked about, say the things we remember, but I remember that in the same way I would remember a dream. So there's not really a sense of time, if that makes sense.
Not a sense of time, and sometimes like not a lot of scope or the sort of, there is a lot of haziness to a dream. It's like Silent Hill. Do you know what
it kind of feels for me? Dreams almost feel like a demo. Yeah, like it's not the full game. No. It's just like a little bit of it. And do you ever see those YouTube videos where they have a free camera in the video game and they'll go and show you all this like mad stuff? That's what a dream feels like to me. Yeah,
no, I'd agree with that. But it's just fascinating that like to what is the limit of being able to refine lucid dreaming, and like what if they figure out a way that you can just tap straight into it, like, because like that would be,
there must be something like.
But if you think about it, like if you can refine that and like it's something that everyone can do, whether it be via taking a pill or a drug, like
I was
something.
just gonna say, imagine you could take something that would put you asleep and give you a lucid dream. That'd be class.
But like if you had a way to lucid dream like every night and do whatever you want and then dreams, surely motherfuckers would just be like they'd be living in bed.
I think the problem is
like
that
the Matrix.
They just can't. You can't, like, you'll have snippets, but it's not like this. Like this is real. There's a sense of time and a sense of weight.
What I'm saying though is that's what I'm saying is
if
like,
you could make it like this.
But if you keep refining that skill and they're saying that it's a different thing, it's like a sense, it's a different consciousness.
Well, the fear is like it's like, you know, if you take a trip or something, it's like that's all well and good until you're in it and you don't want to be in it anymore. Like
imagine you were in your dream, you were lucid dreaming.
But imagine what's
and someone turned to you in the dream and was like, "Oh, I'm lucid dreaming as well, bro." Like we're both. I was like, "Oh, yeah, like they're like an imposter in your dream." But
what if it's what if we all go to the same? Yeah. Remember we say it's like a demo. Yeah. What if everyone's having a demo and you can get to the other side? I had a thing in a dream and I can't remember it. It was a bizarre thing. I forgot it like immediately. But I met myself in my dream. Oh, yeah. And I told myself something. I was like, you don't know this yet. And obviously I did because like it was me. But in the dream, and I can't remember, I didn't know what was told to me by myself in the dream. And then I forgot everything as soon as I woke up. But I remember, and I'm sure if I remembered it, I'd be like, oh, that's garbage. But it was this really bizarre experience where like I had felt that I had had some sort of transcendental dream from me telling me something that I didn't know. It was a very weird.
There's dreams, or I'm having a lot of weird ones lately.
With the oxygen, right?
Well, I don't. Yeah, I think that's definitely making it more weird for sure. And it's like my latest kind of ones, like to the frequency of maybe once every other week or something. I've had like dreams with like ex-girlfriends, and like it's like they're like fucking bosses in Elden Ring or something. I fucking. I'm like, oh no. And in the dream, it's like some kind of like really annoying thing. And I'm like really fucking annoyed. And no disrespect to them. And it's not as if I'm Mr. Perfect or anything, but like in these dreams, like it's like everything that annoyed you about that experience. And it's like, oh no, bitch, I'm a big Elden Ring bossy
do you
big
think
fucker.
it's similar to like when you have that dream where like I get the dream occasionally where there's tests and I'm like I remember in the dream it was like Sebi Lewis was like, how can I be doing the Leaving Cert? I'm 40 years old and I've been working for the last 20 years but you're still like you have to do the Leaving Cert the next
it
day,
is like there's that awareness and frustration. I remember the last one I had the other night I was an ex and I bumped into her and I don't think we were even together in the dream or something, and we were going off and she was like oh yeah, I'm smoking a bit of crack nowadays now. And I'm like, what?
Do you have any exes that would be on, like none of your exes are cracked up?
No. And she was like, I was like, why the fuck are you smoking fucking crack?
Why you smoke crack?
And she was like, I just like doing it. And I was like, but it's really addictive. And she's like, I know, that's what I like about it, is that I'm teasing the addiction, like that I can have it and I can put it down. Like, and I was like, you're so fucking annoying.
Yeah.
It's like,
that does seem like some of the exes I know, they would have tried to twist reality like that. You'd be like, no, like, stop being a dope.
Plug me out, take me out of the matrix. And so, yeah, that's been like my recurring ones lately, and they're really strange. But it's funny at different points in your life how you have these different dreams. And I think there is a lot that psychologically, like probably people that analyze dreams can take stuff from them. I do think meanings can be derived from dreams.
Absolutely.
Like,
I think
for sure.
there's an element. Your dad said it to me,
Yeah.
and it made a lot of sense to me. He said a big part of dreams is just your brain defragmenting. So it's just like trying to figure out, just getting rid of shit it doesn't need.
Shit that comes back.
Which really resonated with me. But I think even more than what you're saying, I think you can definitely extract subconscious meaning from it. But I kind of think that there's probably some sort of like realm that's, membranes that could rub up against each other. Like, I'm always curious about people who have the same dreams on the same night.
Yeah, well, that's
like reports of that. Yeah. I think there might be something going on there. There's also been people who they've been told stuff in dreams. They've had these sort of dreams that seem like they're connected to loved ones who've passed on, that seem to have some sort of resonance, possibly outside of just your brain. Like, for your brain to make up a really concise and sort of vivid moment, usually dreams don't really do that,
What I had heard, and I kind of like as well, is that like basically everything, every person in a dream is a part of you. And it's what that person means
represents
to you. Yeah.
So if you kill someone in a dream, what that person, like, that's what they say is that. I remember, I don't know.
So me getting annoyed at my exes is me getting annoyed at parts of me that I see in them.
It's possibly you getting annoyed with ways you used to be around that
exactly.
time.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So you're going around trying to like defeat
your own boss. Yeah. It is like a mirror match. No, it's they say that like anybody who annoys you, like Jungian psychology would say that's an element of yourself that annoys you.
Oh, for sure. I agree with that.
And when you do kind of parse it back a little bit, and but then also there are some people who I've met who are just annoying.
Oh yeah.
So what is it about those? Like, I'm always curious when I meet someone who you're universally, people go, yeah, they're fucking annoying. And you kind of sit down and you go, right, well, what is the parts of this that we all find annoying? And it's probably a very universal thing, like they're controlling or like something very normal like that. But it's such a universal thing that you're like, well, I don't want to be that way,
Yeah. And some people are way more tolerant than others as well. Like there's a lot of people that I'd be annoyed by that other people are just tolerant of, and they're like, look, sure, it's grand. Well, and you're like, okay, well, that really fucking annoys me, does.
Yeah. Well, when people say it's grand, I think there's something about, if something externally to you is annoying you, you can't change that.
No.
but you can change what. Well, when I say you can, your only option is to change whatever part of you it annoys, and
get away from that.
Or get away from them, yeah. But I think that's what the kind of Zen Buddhisty people would say, is that nothing outside of you can annoy you. But then, like we said, there are people who are universally annoying. Yeah. So it's like everyone you meet, you go, yeah, they're fucking really annoying.
There are, yeah. So to identify what sets lucid dreaming apart from the rest of sleep, he and his team pulled previous studies in which brain activity was measured with EEG sensors together into what is now the most extensive data set in the field of sleep research. The researchers then compared brain activity patterns from wakefulness, REM sleep, and lucid dreaming to find that the eerie self-awareness experienced in lucid dreams has a connection to the electrical rhythms in neurons known as brainwaves. Perception and memory processing in the lucid dreaming state were found to be different from non-lucid REM sleep. The consciousness of existing in a dream was associated with the beta waves in the right central lobe. This part controls spatial awareness and your non-verbal memory. And the parietal lobe, which controls the sense of touch and spatial awareness.
So spatial awareness seems to be something.
Yeah.
And then I was wondering about flippy shit.
Yeah.
Because that's
true.
Spatial awareness is a big part of that, you know.
True, and actually mine, when you think about it, it's like lack of space. So
yeah. So there is an awareness of space there.
There's like total darkness all around me. So it's like,
and you're familiar with the area as well. Like
interesting. We're figuring it all out.
Wow, somebody ring Neuroscience Journal.
So, beta waves, for those wondering, are a type of high-frequency electromagnetic activity in the brain involved in conscious thought processes like solving problems or making decisions. Our consciousness is dominated by beta waves when we are awake. So this might explain why there is so much cognitive control in lucid dreaming. Dreamers deep in REM sleep have no sense of control over factors like thoughts, feelings, and behaviors, but those in lucid dreams do. Okay, so I'm wondering then, is that exclusive to lucid dreaming that you have any degree of control? Because then in that case, I'm sure a lot of people that listen would probably say, oh, well, I've lucid dreamed then. Because like I've had plenty of dreams where you're aware of what you're doing. You're like, oh, here's a motherfucker. So I mean, like I've had them, those dreams where you're punching someone and your punches don't do anything.
Yeah.
All that kind of stuff. Like I've had them.
Yeah. I think it's probably levels of, if you want to call it consciousness or awareness or whatever, probably levels, because you do have dreams. You have dreams where it's like things are just happening and it's sort of an on rails experience. Whereas you do have dreams then where you're, like even I was saying, it wasn't a lucid dream, but when I talked to myself in that dream, there was an awareness of what was being said and a felt sense. What's that, like a somatic response? Isn't that when you feel something that's not necessarily verbal, but there was a felt sense of kind of like, whoa, this is big in some way. But again, I wasn't in control.
Very interesting stuff. So he was linking the gamma waves with lucid dreaming. They're the fastest brain waves, and they become visible on an EEG at times when the brain is especially alert and focusing on something. When lucid dreaming begins, gamma waves increase in the right precuneus, which is involved in self-referential thinking, thoughts about ourselves and our lives. It's never really, like, I'd imagine studying the brain is so fucking fascinating. Like, I mean, think about just even what they're trying to piece together here and how there's different regions that deal with different things. And fucking, it must be so fascinating to
What's
look
interesting is that we know lucid dreams exist, right? But they're trying to figure out what the foundation. It's like knowing love exists, but not understanding what parts of your body are lighting up.
Well, that isn't that science really across the board is,
and it's your proving anecdote effectively. It's
like. I think, as far as I'm aware, it's one that comes up a lot. People always reference it, but like, I'm not sure if it's understood now, but one of the ones that people always said was like, we don't actually know what goes on when you're put under or how it mechanically works.
Oh, aesthetic.
Anesthetic. How it actually, like, mechanically, what's going on there. We just know that it works.
We know, I read this somewhere, it was like, we know how to turn off consciousness, but we don't know where it comes from. Which is really, but then,
you can turn it on and off.
I'm just trying to think. We can't necessarily, we can turn people off. But actually, based on the episodes we've done on the NDEs, we may not be turning off the consciousness.
Well, that's
we
true,
just know how
depending.
to knock people out, but then there's stories of the consciousness emerging in other ways. So actually, we just know how to knock people out.
Yeah.
We can't turn off the consciousness, which is real interesting.
Yeah.
Consciousness is... Sometimes you just think about how fucking wild the whole thing is. It's like they can't understand the one thing that makes us aware.
Yeah.
Like, and it's such a bizarre, when you just consider that for a second, like, we know how the bones work, we know how to grow your muscles, we know how to set bones, we know how to help if your fucking cholesterol's too high, if you have blood like fucking battered cake or whatever, like, but we don't know the thing that makes us who we are. We don't know how it works.
No.
There's theories saying that, like, that's conscious. There's theories saying that, it's just, I find it really fascinating.
That's why it's
It's such a fundamental thing that we don't understand.
which is why it must be a really cool sort of field to work in.
How do you think? Because I always wonder about this. Like,
they know all the ingredients of the cake, like, but they don't know.
but they don't know how to get the flavor.
They don't know, they don't know how to taste the cake, I suppose, or how the cake is, how it gets to be a cake, like something like that, right? It's like they have the ingredients, they know mechanically, they go, right, this does that and that does this, and that's why that happens, but they don't have the, like, I suppose, why it happens in the first place. Why does consciousness happen?
An
Why did it
interesting
happen?
thing that a guy I know, he studied biology. He was very interested in, like, altering his consciousness, I suppose. And this guy was telling me that they were doing studies on psilocybin, so the mushroom, and it was, for some people, they go on like that, you know, the heroic journey or whatever of taking a mushroom trip, and it actually helps with whatever psychological issues you might have. Again, if it's done in the right setting and all that sort of stuff. And I always assumed this was due to the journey you went on with the mushrooms or with the LSD or whatever you're taking. But he actually said, no, they're doing studies now where they take out the part that's psychoactive,
Right.
but the way it affects the brain is the same. So maybe what he was saying is they shut off the part that makes you experience the trip, but you're
the benefits are
ingesting the
still
same
there.
thing.
Right.
That's exactly it. The benefits. So psilocybin, for example, has been shown to be really, really effective for managing OCD, anxiety. Again, not if you take it in an alley with your friends, like under clinical settings. And I always thought that was something to do with thinking. But actually, he said no. It seems to be.
It's mechanical.
Yeah.
It's,
So you're
biological.
It's like you
rather than-
hydrating. It's something similar, but it cures your fucking stupid mind.
It's like how to say, you know, we know it's like cannabinoid receptors and all that type of stuff, like where it's, I suppose it's, all that is fascinating, man.
Because
Very
it's but then what's really interesting is that as beings, we're wired in a way to go on the journey so that it has a narrative experience on us. So you take a thing, your brain creates this, you know, really interesting or maybe terrifying or whatever.
For it to make sense to you, almost.
For it to make sense to you.
To make sense to itself.
Yeah, but if you don't see that part, it still works. Like, that's
the brain
kind
is
of mental. Like.
Yeah, well, if anything, that's a bit of an evidence for maybe consciousness being something else, because your consciousness is going, right, brain, this is what we have to do for you to understand what's going on there to make sense of it.
And then the brain,
and if you can't make sense of it,
if
you're
we
gonna go
do
mad.
science, we can just well, that's true as well. Like,
and brain, if you can't make sense of it, you're going to be running up and down nude.
If you don't find acceptance for this experience, you're toast.
Interesting. It is.
But that's the thing, is that, and it kind of makes sense. It was just that idea, because you have a transcendent experience, and he was like, well, no, actually, it turns out if you take the experience out, you still get the benefit. And that rattled me.
Yeah, no,
you know, because I'm sure we both have. We've had a few of those experiences, and we're not psychonauts by any. But you know, we were younger once, less brittle.
I did lots of salvia back in the day, good amount of times. Like, interestingly enough, though, I never had any real sort of
full break.
No,
neither did I. I took mushrooms a couple of times. I saw the images, like, you know, the movement and all that, and I had access. To be fair, like, they're taught, I don't know, because when you're actually fucked up, it feels different. Whereas now you'd be like, oh yeah, I sure can think that when I'm sober. But I know there was there's some sort of something going on where you could think the same ideas, but there's a richness and a texture to them that isn't there. And
everything affects
sobriety.
people super different, because, like,
Yeah.
when I, you know, back in the day when I was dabbling with like the likes of salvia and stuff, and obviously I haven't touched drugs in years and years now. I'm not even really interested, I'll be quite honest with you.
Same.
But like, so I had done it a couple of times, probably like 5 times, and I liked it. I thought it was good fun. And the group of mates that was knocking around with, like, they'd never tried it, and I was like, if you want to try it, sure, like, I'll set up an experience for us. Like, I'll get the lights down low, I'll put on something chill on the TV, and, you know, we'll make a night of it, like. And a couple of boys came around, and I did it with them. And so obviously, you know, when you're minding people, you're the last one to do it, really, because you want to make sure everyone's, you know, off on their way okay, like. And I remember, like, and this will just show you how differently it affects everyone, is like, I passed it to my mate on the left, and I was working around the room that way, and you know, I gave him, we were doing it from like a pipe, and by the time I got from him to the next guy, he was like gone, full trip, and that surprised me, because I had done it so many times and I had never gone that way, and I was looking at him going, oh fucking hell, I was like, what the fuck is this shit? And I was like, is this like a mad batch or something? But then, like, we had all done it. Now, one of the others, was 4 of us, one of the other lads did kind of get the same kind of thing. But, like, I never did. I just had the giggles. But even when I was in that experience...
You were still aware of...
Yeah, and I was aware of, like... Because I was telling the lads, like... Because he was, like, kind of on the precipice of having a bad experience. But he was enjoying it. But you could tell he was getting a bit bewildered at times, like... And... The lads were laughing because, like, that shit just makes you laugh your fucking ass off, like, and you're just laughing. But, like, I had the wherewithal to be like, lads, stop fucking laughing at him, like, and stop, you know. I was like, stop fucking messing, like, do you know what I mean? And then I'd be trying to drink 7-Up and spilling all over myself like the bottles like hair, and like your depth of perception's completely gone, and you're just pouring drink all over yourself. But that was my experience with that type of stuff, and so it just goes to show you how it's totally different from one person to the next.
Well, I suppose if you think about how, you know, we're aware of whatever brain chemistry stuff can be different.
That's true. That's to show you, I suppose.
And now you start throwing like fizzy chewits at your brain and just seeing how different people's brain react to it, you know?
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah.
It's
like,
a mad one, yeah.
Yeah, because like I've heard stories, like I think it was Ari Shafir famously had a story where he lived another life on salvia, and there's been a couple of stories about
I've
people
heard another one where
on
a lad
salvia.
said he did it in his basement and the devil appeared and brought him to hell, like just horror. But again, if you're doing salvia by yourself in a basement, like
I've done it by myself a couple of times as well, but I never got mad. This is the funny thing. But like yeah, the whole living life, like I remember I read a story on Reddit like about that. I think maybe we even read that out on the pod a long time ago.
We talked about it anyway.
Maybe in the very early days of the pod. Maybe in the early days of Minifuzz actually. But yeah, no, it's interesting. They do actually go on to talk about hallucinogenics there. They were saying lucid dreams may even go a few experiential steps past psychedelics, and they said that while psychedelics often lead to disillusion of ego and increased self-referential processing, lucid dreams may actually harness elements of self-awareness and control. That was another thing that they were just saying from the study. So apparently if you're capable of lucid dreaming, you're always in for an awesome trip, and the good news is, like we said, you can actually refine that skill. There's plenty of resources out there if anyone's interested in. As a matter of fact, if you're someone, even like myself nowadays, like I wouldn't be arsed at all taking drugs, and I know there's probably, I would actually say that the majority of our listeners probably don't do drugs and never have done. And if they are interested in maybe an experience, maybe look into lucid dreaming, you know, drug free.
Yeah.
And you get a bit fucking trippy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, if you can perfect lucid dreaming, then start taking antihistamines before you go to bed. Like you could have a fucking nighttime could become the most fun.
Yeah, let us know. You know, if you do have done,
really
you know, let us know.
Or if you're starting the journey, let us know how it progresses.
So, Eamon, story here from Reddit. Trespassed in an ancient forest and odd things happened. This is in the UK, and it's by Pumpkins versus Frogs. If you want to give a read.
Who will win? Who will prove the old axiom today? Just to give context, I have been training for long distance hiking for the past few months. Scafell Pike coming up in a month from now, ladies and gentlemen.
See you there.
I can't drive, so I tend to go in the local area, which I'm quite bored of now. I also suck at reading maps, and I've been doing this solo, so I know I can look after myself alone. Last Monday, I was on my usual trek. I had become lost a few times and found myself on private land. When I noticed, I just backtracked. No issues. This happened 3 times on this particular walk, which had added an extra 10 miles. I was heading back home, my usual way, which I had done countless times, when I went over on my ankle. I knew if I went my usual way, it would be an extra 6 miles, which I didn't really want to do. So I looked at my map and saw a private route which cut right through a forest. I'm normally a rule follower, but I knew I couldn't make it the other way, so I trespassed.
Bold.
This route would be 3 miles shorter. I started down the path. All was well the first half mile. There was a stream with a waterfall. All was quite pleasant despite the fact that I was dragging my leg. Then I noticed the forest was getting very dense and the trees were bigger than the ones I'd seen in the other forest I passed through. This really surprised me, since I joke with my friends about all trees looking the same, but the trunk on these trees were the biggest I'd ever seen, with bases the size of small houses. The trees looked like something out of a fairy tale. Further down the path, I noticed that there was sudden bluebells, more than I'd ever seen, surrounding everything. This went on for about a mile. Then I noticed random 3-foot-tall stones that looked purposeful and very old. I'm used to seeing old stone markers, but something about these shapes was odd. Markers, graves, I am unsure. I had seen animals all the way through my hike, but not here. Nothing. It was silent. Sounds liminal. I stopped to take pictures of the bluebells, and then what looked like a leg suddenly came out of the grass near the base of a tree. I jumped out of my skin. I'm miles from anyone on land. I shouldn't be without any signal on my phone. I thought it might have been a bloating body which made the leg suddenly pop up. I got myself together and took a few deep breaths and went to check. I walked over and it was just a solid log. Whew. I swear to God I saw it come up out of the grass near the tree. But it was just a log. WTF. Why the face? I kept on walking but quickened my pace. My ankle is now fucking killing me. Then I heard a door slam. Okay. Okay. Oh. There are no buildings here. When the door, if it was, again, we don't know, but I'm just going to say, from covering its high strangeness for 5 years, when a metal door slams, or there's a sound of a metal door closing, people say that that's like the sound of...
You're entering something.
Yeah. The other place is entering you. Like they're entering a load of stuff about like Bigfoot, lots of weird sightings where there's a sound of a metal door. Sometimes there's a sulfurous smell, and then weird stuff starts happening. So I don't know what's going to happen here, but that's just as a professional high strangeness.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I put together the mini Fuzzes. Eamon does the main episodes,
so we usually are oblivious to what each other are doing, which is probably why this podcast goes the way it goes. Right, he hears the door slam. There's no buildings. Maybe it's just a tree. I'm trying to be rational. What happened next? Really? He's even the way I'm trying to like correct this as I'm going, but he's written here. What happened next really fucking me up. I heard someone speak. It was right next to my ear. I could feel the warmth of their breath. Wow. Leave here. I turned around and there was no one there. Nothing. There was no way someone could sneak off and run away like that. I break out into a full sprint. Fuck my ankle. I need to get out of here now. I reach the end of the path and it's a 15-foot tall changed gate. There is no way I'm heading back down that trail. I find that the top of one of the walls is broken, making it about 10 foot. So I haul my 5-foot ass over it and just sit by the side of the road. I look back through the gate waiting for someone or something, but nothing happens. It's been over a week and I have the need to go back. I don't want to unless it wants me to.
No, he says, I don't want to. It wants me to.
Yeah. I understand I might have been a tad dehydrated, but I've been doing this for a month and nothing like this has ever happened. This is England. There was no building or residence on the land. This
is fucking England.
Yeah. That's actually somewhat common. What he's described there, especially that sound at the gate closing. If I was in a forest and I heard a gate closing after doing this garbage for 5 years and I was walking off by myself, I just go, right, so I'd put my guard up, you know, because there's even that thing with the leg and the log, like, and again, this is getting so much into the high strangeness. Tim's done a couple of episodes of disembodied legs. So it's literally it's just
a leg.
but it seems like the rest of it is phased out maybe. So, and with this kind of high strange stuff, it's possible that something manifested and then quickly undid itself.
I believe Tim also has a dinosaur sighting in his latest episode, which I need to go back and listen to.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Right, I've got to
Dinosaur
check that
Strange
out.
Familiars.
That's
He tagged me and I was like,
what
well,
could be better. Like what could be better?
no,
Just in
you're right.
time for June's
Yeah.
Jurassic Park release.
No, you're right. It's like there is something I haven't in years like gone on solo hikes really, but there is something liminal and weird about being in the woods on your own. That
There's
it
fear
sets
as
off a
well.
load of kind of your sort of fight or flight. Sets off a load of weird stuff.
I went on by myself years ago. I went on a night hike to Oath, so
Yeah.
like crossing.
Oh,
so
yeah.
you're on right on the. There was no
Cliff
one
walk.
around. Yeah, cliff walk basically. There was no one around. It was very dark, but like the moon was quite full. So like, you know, there was
bright enough, like
bright enough to see, and it was obviously bouncing off the water and blah blah blah. But you can't help
Yeah.
but shit yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
Like you get a kilometer in,
Yeah.
and I got to a certain point, and my whole body was like, turn the fuck around. Like, and there was, I could hear dogs and stuff, which was a bit
Weird.
weird,
Yeah.
but again, not like that's, I guess, normal. But definitely, your eyes start playing tricks. Like,
Yeah, it's mad.
it's an interest. When you're with someone, it's fine.
Yeah, yeah.
But I was trying to do this totally solo, and I bricked myself and had to go home.
Yeah, so we'll do the ghost story next week because we have a few bits that we want to talk about as well. So Copper Kelly writes in from last week. So last week to our patrons, we answered on our patron special. We just put to our patrons to give us questions. Copper Kelly wrote this one in. He said, do you get much complaints or pushback over the political, possibly controversial things ye and in brackets Eamon says? Are you surprised by the amount or lack thereof? Well, Eamon, you know, has targeted the Jews in the past. He's gone after the blacks.
I don't think I've gone after the Jews.
Gays, transes. You know, he's gone after basically most of them. Midgets.
Yeah.
Goes after them sometimes.
The little people. That's what they told me was little people.
But no, we don't get
No, we
pushback.
don't. I think the reason we
Sometimes.
don't is because we don't, like, we make fun of things.
Yeah.
And if you actually listen back to the whole podcast, I'd say if you did a per capita, I probably make fun of myself more than any other group.
Yeah.
So like it's just messing around. I do get frustrated with stuff sometimes.
blacks.
Have they gone too far? No, I think sometimes there's like I got really frustrated at these fucking marches in Dublin.
Oh, yeah.
Like stuff like that. More recently, it's almost the opposite thing where it's the pendulum swung too far right. And then previously, I think I was getting frustrated with the pendulum being too far the other way. But I just
Well, you're a moderate though, and that's like a lot of
Yeah.
moderate people are going to get annoyed by all this crap, regardless.
because it's just so like
it's all
again,
polarizing. So it's
Yeah.
like the more moderate you are, which
no matter what happens, you're still
it's
frustrated.
it's that annoying nowadays where like even like for any moderate, like now moderates are being targeted where it's like you have to pick a fucking side.
That's
And it's
so
like
dumb.
yeah you hear
So
all this
fucking
crap
dumb.
like and you're like whatever like. And look, to be fair, we've had pushback. The most pushback we've had
Religious
is
stuff.
when we talk about political or religious stuff. To be fair,
to be fair though, the like political
but
stuff.
it's minor. Like it's not
Yeah.
a lot of pushback. Like we've had a couple of people like, but like my I used to get really annoyed by it. I'll be quite honest. I used to get really fucking frustrated because when you listen to this podcast, it's two people who know each other very, very, very well. And so we know the subtleties and nuances of our conversation and we know what we intend and what we mean
yeah.
without saying it. And anyone that has friends or family, they know that. And they know themselves how they interact with their friends
if
and
you make
family.
a joke in poor
Yeah,
taste, or
we're not
whatever, it's
like-
a joke, like it's not serious.
Yeah, and a lot of podcasts don't have that, so like they're fact checked a lot more, or they make sure that it's very like everything is stated. Whereas, and Irish people are guilty of it in general anyway, where a lot of foreign people that live here get frustrated by implied. Ireland kind of communicates on all these implied invisible rules. And it's all about like intent, and it's like but you know that it's all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, and
It's-
the intent behind it can be
So
malicious at times.
in general,
Yeah,
as a nation, we would be kind of sort of You know what I mean, though. So
and most of the time, again, you can weaponize. You know what I mean, though.
Yeah.
But most generally speaking,
but when you're talking as friends,
you're just going, you know what I mean,
though,
or you say, shit, I didn't mean it like that. You know, and
Yeah.
some people, unfortunately, and I'm sure we have in the past, had shitty friends that try to make you feel bad.
Yeah, of course.
But we're not like that with each other. And if anything, we would always try to like, look on the bright, you know, try to help each other, you know, with whatever the thing is. But no, for me, so I don't think we get. I think the most pushback we got was Nephilim, to my recollection. That was, but I don't really fuck around with the Instagram, so maybe you see more than I do.
No, I think you've seen most of the stuff that we've gotten. It's
to be honest with you, again,
Nephilim,
I think
we had.
I'm surprised we got nothing on Revelations. To be honest, with you.
The Cat in the Dryer.
That was another one that's like that shit fucking annoys me. I'll go on one now. So like Rob told an anecdote, a story before about how he put his cat in the dryer by mistake. He didn't.
I wasn't even involved.
Sorry, Rob's cat went in the dryer. But it was a total mistake, right?
And nothing to do with me either.
But if the cat had died, it's not a funny story.
No, and you don't tell it.
Yeah, exactly. And you go, a really tragic thing happened to my cat, you know? But like the fact that happened and someone felt but the fact that someone did it, it's reprehensible that you make. This is what fucking annoys me. Why are you listening to this podcast if you don't want to hear jokes?
No, to be fair,
we're taking the piss out of stuff.
To be fair, though, that anecdote was on a guest episode, so that was it would have been like an episode where people who weren't familiar with
were we on a different podcast? But still in all, come on,
but dry shites, and you get that, but no, all in all, like I think as I get older, you know, you do realize, and I was never one that wanted to be liked by anyone anyway. But you do more and more realize that everyone can like you, and no matter what you do, even if you're always trying to put your best foot forward and always trying to please everyone, you're still going to fucking annoy people. You can annoy people by wanting to please them all the time. So like no matter what way,
we were talking about people who are naturally annoying.
So no matter what way you go about handling things, you're always going to annoy someone.
You may as well be authentic. And
I think
be
yourself.
The whole point for me of this podcast is like, we say things, we joke around. It's not meant to be taken serious unless we tell you we're being serious. Like even when I say, "What are you doing? Listen to the podcast." You're going to whinge about a cat and dryer. Like I'm not really being serious. I don't care. But when we say we're being serious and we're saying like this is fucking bullshit. But the other thing as well is like, and I know there's a big thing about it now. You shouldn't be allowed to say stuff unless you're an expert. So I don't know if you've heard about this recently where there's a big thing with Dave Smith and Douglas Murray. I haven't listened to...
I don't know who they are, but...
So they're two... One lad is a comedian who talks a lot about... he's pro-Palestinian. And the other guy is sort of pro-Israeli. Now Douglas Murray is a journalist and a kind of a thinking man. I think he was part of the... He wasn't part of that fucking stupid shit. The dark intellectual web. Wank into my own face.
Cringe.
But he's very obviously intelligent man. But he was basically going mad at the other lad at the start of this debate, just saying you haven't been to Gaza, so you can't say anything. You're not an expert, so you shouldn't be allowed to say anything. And there's an element, I suppose, of truth in that we can get a lot of information and we can sort of bank on that information where...
But you can prioritize people's opinion.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you've been to Gaza. Okay. Well, I'll listen to you more than someone who hasn't been. Fair enough.
But this is the thing, the fact that you can't talk about it, like it's just such a stupid thing to say. Like,
by doing that and saying like you're not qualified, that's gatekeeping, and that's not fair. Like,
and that's how you end up with despotic issue, like fucking people.
Well, that's like saying like, oh well, you're all plebeians. Like you don't experience like the running of businesses from day to day, so you can't commentate on like capitalism, or you can't commentate on things that you don't like about it because you don't know it. Like, no, of course you can.
I thought it was a weak argument. Now, to be fair, and again,
if something makes you feel queer about something, you know, off rather about something.
See how easy it can happen? You see how easy it can happen?
then you know, the guys love us for fucking, like I said last week.
Well, they know we're an ally.
Kylie Minogue of the podcast world. It's all bollocks. Like, listen, they're all fucking lunatics. Like, look at fucking Ethan Klein right now. Absolute fucking lunatic.
What's up with him now?
He's just gone off the fucking rails totally. Like, he's just like... It's the same type of shit as the Israel fucking Palestine shit, but he's just like...
Is he, because his missus is Israeli?
They're both Jewish, like, so him and his missus. But like, he was on a podcast... He did a podcast for 60 or 70 episodes with the most, like, prominent pro-Palestinian... left-leaning commentator, right? And did that for like 60 or 70 episodes. It was all great and ha ha ha. But all of a sudden your man is like, no, well, not all of a sudden. He's always been like, no, I don't agree with anything that Israel is doing in Palestine. Never have done, hate it.
And then he got rid of him.
And then he's cracking up with like Ethan Klein just going, this is fucking terrible, like blah, 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 blah. And it's just this whole thing where, I don't know, it's just, I had to unfollow Ethan Klein there only recently because I was just like, Jesus, like, he's a grown man. But like, he's like fucking...
But it's like even with fucking
venomous,
Rogan can't stop talking about
But
COVID.
Rogan...
It's like that happened, like I'm not saying that happened forever ago. But
even Rogan's he's just having conversations.
Having two different
but if you go
views.
onto Ethan Klein's like Instagram, like he's like obsessively going after the Hassan guy who he had a podcast with. And it's like...
Because he's
like,
pro-Palestine.
Like, it would be like he would be watching us talking now, right? And he would be literally screenshotting captions and like responding to everything. And like you're going like, fuck me, man. It's just, and like I watched this podcast recently and I was like, I hadn't seen him in years and I was like, you don't look well. Like you actually don't look well
for a while. God love him. Yeah.
Like he looks like weird, like, and I'm like, this is like, I seen, there was one clip I seen him, I was like, is he fucking coked out of it? Like he looked like he was tweaking, and I was like, this is fucking, but that's what I'm saying, it's like, getting wrapped up in that shit is just fucking crazy to me. It's like,
I think part of it as well is like, we all have opinions, and for most of us, our opinions generally aren't super educated opinions. They're just opinions based on what we know, and you don't live and die by your opinions. You could be wrong about stuff. The Israel-Palestine shit, to me at least, it doesn't sound like there's any right answer. Like, I get what both sides are saying. I completely get people who are pro, like, Palestinian. I don't so much get people who are pro Hamas, but that's a different thing. Likewise, I see people who are saying like they're pro-Israel and the right to defend themselves, but you also see like, well, lads, this seems like it's getting a bit beyond that, and the whole
just a bit,
but this is it. But then again, you see like look at how long Hamas have had there to make a positive difference, and they don't care who's dying, and like the whole thing is,
it's just messy.
Yeah, like, it's messy, and there's no way that you could say like this is the opinion that is right. Like there's no right opinions.
No, there's plenty of times we've shared our opinions on all these topics, and it's flattering that people would want to hear them, and that's the thing that people are missing when they hear people like us talking about things like that, is that sometimes people that listen to you for a couple of hours a week and they enjoy what they hear, they want to know your opinion on things that they have an opinion on.
They want to know it until they hear the opinion they don't like.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. And it's flattering. I take it as like a compliment when someone goes like, oh, what do you think about that? Because it's like, oh, it's cool that they want to hear your opinion, but then at the same time, I actually only had this conversation with a friend that listens to the podcast recently enough. Like he was asking, like, you know, have you kind of said about this or that on the pod? Like, do you talk about that on the pod, or, you know, blah blah blah? And I'm like, look, to be honest with you, like, trying to be like, was it divisive? Divisive, yeah. Trying to be like, when you have a podcast like us, all we're trying to do is have the laugh and trying to make people laugh and trying to be a bit silly, and maybe you might learn something about something weird and inconsequential. Yeah. There's no point in us being divisive if we can bring people fun.
Yeah.
So there's no point in us drawing a line in the sand, which is actually really hard for me to do because I love voicing my opinion on things that I care about. And I have done on this podcast. Sometimes you just fucking go for it. But ultimately what I always fall back to when I think about it with like a sound, sane mind, and I go, there's no point in me getting on this podcast, on this platform that isn't meant to be about that. Yeah. Really going off about that. If I do feel passionate enough about it, then I should, in my eyes, it's like, well, start a new fucking podcast. Like, if you want to talk about politics, if it makes you that mad that you want to get up on it, do a fucking politics podcast. And sometimes you'll hear, like, even our listeners, some of them, Stephen, in his writing, asked on the Patreon about, like, what's my opinion on certain plants to plant in his garden, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's a similar thing, right?
With the shadows, yeah.
And that's a similar thing. So if people want to hear me talking about plants, then you keep saying that, and then I'll go, okay, I'll talk about plants somewhere. But, like, if it's not, like, that's not my strength. Talking about politics is not my strength. I'm very much interested in particular, the Israel-Palestine thing, and I have been since I was very young. But, like, I think nowadays as well, like I just find it so exhausting since the rise of the internet as well. It's just like,
well, there's so much grift is the real
It's
problem,
just-
you know.
yeah.
Like I almost like I think that's the thing is that I can have a different opinion from you,
Mm-hmm.
and I can have a different, and I'm sure we don't have like polar opposite opinions with Israel Palestine, but I don't really
Mm.
have much of a dog in the race, but I would imagine my opinion isn't exactly the same
No.
as yours, you know.
Yeah.
But like, I think the thing is like we're both reasonable people,
Mm.
and so you can have a conversation, and you can see this thing and this thing, and you can see two differing opinions, that there's elements of speckles of truth in both of them, and you don't have to be all in on one or the other. It's just discussing it. And like I would definitely, I'm sure, have differences of opinions with some of the people that we have met up with, I would imagine.
Oh god,
And-
yeah.
but not in a way that we would need to be enemies, because I'm always curious about people who have a different opinion from me, and I would always be open to changing my opinion should I find, oh, actually that was a part I was blind to and I didn't consider it, and actually I need to re-evaluate not my stance, because I don't care enough about anything to have a full
But as you
stance on
age,
it.
like your stances will change and your opinions
For sure,
will
yeah.
shift.
Like, but even like, I think the world is a really
Like we've been doing this half a decade.
yeah, true, and that's
like-
actually a decent wedge of our
Yeah.
life.
And your
if you think
opinion,
about it.
even in over a half a decade, will shift.
I used to believe in Bigfoot. No, I just believe in the Patterson Gimlin
No,
film.
but that's the whole thing is like, it's great that people want to hear, and sometimes it just bleeds in naturally anyway. We don't even try and go out of our way, but
we have a weird thing where we're caricatures of ourselves.
Yeah.
In that, like, we don't be talking the way we talk
No.
to each other, joking around the way we are.
No.
But we're also, you're a real version of yourself, but also a joke version
Yeah.
of yourself. And they kind of overlap.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's hard to figure out, I would imagine, for the listeners, which part's the joke and which part's and even for us,
That's
we're
the
just
joke,
dicking
though.
around. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I like doing that though, but that's me as a person. Like I like throwing people off.
Well,
on
you do like
deliberately.
trolling a little
Yeah,
bit as well. Like,
yeah.
you're kind of
But just deliberately with like, I'll play little games in my own head with people in real life just to amuse myself. Like I like being standoffish with people just to fuck
just
with them.
to see what way
Yeah,
they react to
yeah,
it.
stuff like that. Like I'll get a kick out with that even. Like, so yeah, no, it does. It goes deep, but it's yeah, no, it's cool. Like, look, I do like voicing opinions on things. Don't get me wrong, and I am passionate about a lot of things. But you know, sometimes you just kind of. Especially as you get a little bit, I'm not mature by any means, but you get a bit more mature, you're kind of like, what is the fucking point in like a podcast where we're just literally, our goal is to have a laugh and to make other people have a laugh.
Yeah.
Not
And
saying that we're
create a
like
community
Yeah, why
rather
would you?
than-
Yeah, why would you? It makes no sense. So I would rather, in an ideal world, being 100% truthful right now, I would rather people know fucking nothing about my politics, know nothing about my religious stuff, and know nothing about anything, and just enjoy what we do. Because that ideally would be the best way to present it. But again, because it's two friends having a podcast versus just, you know, two randomers or whatever, it happens. You get more, and people appreciate that too, by the way. So it's one of those things where it's a bit everywhere.
Yeah, I think that it's just, again, I think you have to know. We don't have to do anything, but like the product you're getting, if you could call this a product.
Two friends chatting by.
Yeah, that's
about
it, exactly.
monsters.
Two lads chatting about monsters who've
That's it.
known each
Bog
other
monsters
for
and
over
Wolfmen.
20 years, and it's like that. You know, that
what you
there's a lot of history. Like,
Yeah.
and I think I do it a lot of times. I notice sometimes I look back at one of these and see how
Mm-hmm.
an episode was, and I'll sometimes just assume you know what I'm talking about and throw out half a sentence, and I'm like, geez, yeah, these cunts listen have no idea what
Some might,
I'm
though.
trying to articulate.
Some might now though.
True, because it's been so long
Yeah.
since we've been doing
That's
it.
the thing, like. But anyway, we'll move off that topic. And
Yes.
before we go, we'll talk a little bit quickly about video games. King of Fighters came out, and I got it.
Have you played much of it?
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
I'm playing it like Street Fighter 6 at the minute, so I'm not playing it correctly as I should be. Like I'm
Yeah.
playing it as a 6.
They say
Street Fighter
it
6
does.
guy.
It transitions to
It
Street Fighter
does.
6 style.
It's different.
The SPG, that's your focus, but it's only like a third of the health bar. Right?
Good. Things I don't like about, there's not enough Butsy characters in it. That's a bit disappointing. There's only like 2.
Who is it? My
And the blondie one, that's it.
Oh, Bijane.
That's all
yeah.
they got.
Who there's
no
there's
other
a
Butsy
couple
in
of
it.
other girls. Yeah, they're not Butsy
No.
though. She's like 12.
Very disappointing.
Yeah.
So I'm
See,
not-
that could be a divisive stance. There's not enough tits and ass in my video games. Yeah, that could be divisive.
So I want that in my fighting games if I want.
Now, to be fair, I think Bijane and Mai, they're
they do
top
make up
tier,
for it, like, to
top
be
tier
fair.
totties.
So no, I'm enjoying that actually. It's very fun. Yeah, you've been playing some shit.
I've been playing a lot of Banishers. I think, did we speak about it last time?
We did, yeah.
So I'm still on that. I haven't had enough time to really play the games properly.
What was that one that you were saying reviewed really well?
I haven't played it yet. There's a game, I think it's called Claire Expedition or Claire
Delune?
33. No. Well, let me just, because I thought it was Claire Obscura, but Claire I think Delune I could be getting that.
It's Claire something or other.
Yeah.
Fucking Claire Redfield.
There's
Claire Obscura.
Claire Obscura 33. So it seems to be reviewing really well. From what I can see, it seems to have like an 8 to 9 average. Sure. It's a turn-based RPG, but the way the turn-based, it's kind of got rhythm elements to it, so it seems to keep you engaged. Max did like a live cast of it.
Okay.
The voice acting sounds phenomenal. Right. Like I was listening, your man Daredevil, Charlie Cox, is one of the voices in it. I'm not sure of the others, but they're quite famous. But it's reviewing super well. It's a nice sized RPG, 30 to 40 hours, which is good. Looks very nice, but I think again, I'm not sure if I don't think it's a AAA game, but it's a AA. But again, it has some really good voice acting and all the rest of it. I think the video game industry is going to AA. I think it has to sustain itself. It does, yeah. Because it's going to cannibalize itself otherwise.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with that. No, it looks interesting. Yeah, I might get that.
I think I'm going to pick it up. I'm going to finish. I'm really enjoying like Banishers.
Will you ride Pan Am and stop fucking around? Like,
too busy fighting ghosts. Sake. Like, look, man.
Playing all these games and messing. Clear fucking
you get fed up, right? You get fed up Pan Am dangling the carrot of...
Yeah, Switch 2 soon. I have that pre-ordered.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, look forward to that.
You'll be able to get that because you're not in the United States.
Yeah. I got Street Fighter 6 day one on it. Yeah.
Oh, on the Switch too, yeah?
Yeah. I said I'd get it.
Are you going to master again?
Yeah, I'll just batter lads. It'll be so much fun. Yeah. It'll be so much fun.
Now that you'll be
starting from like noob and just battering lads the whole way up. And Elena's day one on it as well.
Very cool. She looks like a fun character.
Yeah, so I might even play a bit of Elena on Switch, like on a different account, you know. So it looks good.
Looks good. I saw some movies this week. I saw Sinners, which for anyone who hasn't seen it, it's well worth checking out.
Jason Statham, is it?
Boy.
Is it? Is he in it?
No.
Who's in it?
Michael B. Jordan is in it. It's really good though. It's well worth checking out. I think it is like a cinema experience. I don't think you'll get a movie like this for like it's not like a movie like this like you've never seen anything like this before. But it's just done really well. The pacing is really good. It's really enjoyable to watch. It starts as one thing and transitions into another, and I won't even tell you what that's reminiscent of, but you'll know what film I'm talking of as soon as you see it.
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. It's like one day everyone's poor, but then they're in a whimsically magical chocolate factory. So I think that was an excellent film. I also went to see The Accountant 2, and I just watched The Accountant, the first one before it. About an autist who's class at killing people and doing taxes, filing tax returns, which our accountant hasn't done for me yet, so I must get on to them. But two solid films. Sinners, the better of the two, but Accountant 2, quite good. It's like an action movie, but there's a bit more, it's like, again, I don't want to use whimsical twice in one podcast, but it's got an element of that. It's got some good comedy, it's got some pathos. The first one was quite good at kind of stringing those elements together as well. Not like your normal Jason Statham. In this movie, I'm a beekeeper, but I'm actually an assassin. In this movie, I'm a transporter, but actually, I'm an assassin. He has a new one called Working Man. In this movie, I'll play a working man. Are you an assassin, Jason? How do you know that?
I've never actually seen any Jason Statham action film.
I've seen
Snatch was the last one I seen
more than I care to admit.
Snatch was the last film I seen.
They're grand. It's basically like Arnold Schwarzenegger's movies that aren't Predator or Terminator 2.
Yeah. I'm trying to think, was I watching anything over the week? I don't think so, no.
Any TV shows?
No, I don't think so.
Last of Us? The new one's out actually.
No, I haven't watched Last of Us. Yeah. I'm just laughing my arse off because there's Last of Us is like, you want to talk about divisive at the minute, fuck me, people hate Last of Us.
Why? I haven't played the second game.
So on Reddit, there's like a civil war. There's like two Last of Us communities.
One that likes
there's one that really like it, and then there's the other who just like hate the casting of Bella Ramsey. Don't like the show. Just think it's fucking stupid. and it's fairly funny actually.
It's a show about fucking mushroom zombies.
As a sort of a neutral in the whole thing that doesn't really have any skin in the game, I do get a good few laughs out of the memes that like, I mean, I do get it to a degree. It was.
If it's a game that you're really,
it was an unusual casting of Bella Ramsey. I think she is good.
She's a good actress. She just doesn't look anything like Ellie, and I feel like that might be the problem they have. Is it?
It is. Well, it's that, and it's also that she's quite still and I haven't seen the second season yet, but they're saying like she's still quite juvenile looking, and like that it kind of.
And Ellie looks a bit older in the
and so her in that storyline doesn't really match up with the storylines that they.
How am I meant to enjoy this when she doesn't look old enough to play the part?
But they should have had they should have had Kaylee Spenny play her. You want from fucking Aliens, the new Alien. Perfect.
The lady they got to play Dina,
but Bella Ramsey
almost exactly the same. Bella Ramsey's like a good actress. I mean, I think that's fairly undisputable.
Well, no, the red lads don't like it at all.
Really?
No,
they're like
they don't like her as an actor at all.
Dirt.
It's fairly funny now, though. Like, the memes and all are funny, don't get me wrong, but it is, like, a bit mean-spirited, like, as is Reddit oft. Is, like, against, like, toxic, but, no, there's some funny memes and stuff, but, I haven't watched it, to be honest. Am I bothered? Do you know?
Who cares? Yeah, no, I get you. Like, I'll watch it. Me and Paola usually have one thing on the run or whatever.
I really enjoyed it, but
the first season?
Yeah.
You haven't watched any of the second?
I just don't care.
Yeah. No, it's understandable. I like, to be fair, I'm not super pushed on, like, I think it's done very well. I've really enjoyed the 2 episodes, but I'm not super invested. I've seen so much zombie shit.
Yeah, this is it.
Speaking of zombie shit, I am looking forward to 28 years later.
I don't know if I am.
The trailer came out. I watched it in IMAX mirror, and it was like, whoa, like it looks pretty intense. And it's by Alex Garland and Danny Boyle again. Yeah, so it's like, it feels that it's going to be true. Did you like 28 Weeks Later?
No.
Yeah, I wasn't mad about that. I thought the fact that their dad followed him for the whole movie annoyed the shit out of me.
Yeah, which is why I don't really, I'm not looking, if it's got one corny hook in it, like, straight away I'm out, you know, and that's the problem.
And again, the problem is movies films like that are built on a corny hook premise.
This is it.
Even though like it makes me laugh a bit, like at Reddit losing their shit over mushroom zombies. Like, it's kind of just hilarious. But 28 Weeks Later is the same, right? It's like zombies, but they're not zombies. They're just angry people. Yeah. Like it's a
rage.
That was it, wasn't it? The drug rage. They're feeding it to monkeys. They're turning the frogs gay.
I still think Dawn of the Dead remake was probably one of my faves.
The Zack Snyder one.
The one we would have watched. Dawn of the Dead remake.
Dawn of the Dead, I think Night of the Living Dead remake is
that's great.
That's a great 90s movie.
Dawn of the Dead remake had some really corny bits in it, but by and large it was pretty good.
Did you watch the director's cut of that? Obviously.
I'm sure I did.
It's the one where,
like, Mackay Pfeiffer having a shootout with the old one is a bit corny. Like, that was
well, even remember your one emo? She had the Retribution. Was that the name of the band? Dead Reckoning, or am I thinking of Land of the Dead? I think
you're thinking of Land of the Dead.
Land of the Dead. I have a terrible soft spot for Land of the Dead. That was. I want to live with the guys that are in Elysium too.
You're in there,
Dennis Hopper.
Yeah.
I do like Land of the Dead. I do like all of the Dead movies. I even like the fucking Diaries of the Dead and shit. Like, they're fun. I would have loved to seen his Resident Evil movie. I was saying I watched the documentary on that. Like, it wouldn't have been good either, but
they need to just Dead Set was great if we're talking zombie stuff.
The Channel 4 thing.
That was really good. Obviously Walking Dead in the initial.
Yeah, I've been watching those because Paola's big into them, so I'm watching with her. But like, you're just like, this is
not so sort of like why are they still making that?
I don't know, because like obviously it's generating money, right?
But there's surely like 12 people watching it. Like, I actually honestly,
and I'm 2 of them.
Yeah,
me and the
that's
wife,
what I'm saying. Like, but like, who is actually watching them? Like,
I think there's.
But then again, because they're going on one hand, they're saying streaming's taking all their money, this and that, and all right. But then on the other hand, Yellowstone has about 15 spin-offs. And so it's like, that wouldn't have happened.
It almost seems like, it seems like television is funded by public, like the taxpayer. Because it seems like they must be losing money, right?
But like 15 years ago, they wouldn't have, let's say 20 years ago. Like, if Lost was made today, right? Lost would have like 15 spin-offs now. And there'd be like, Jack would have his own TV show where he's going around off the island, like on a different part. Like, like that would be its own show and all. And there'd be another show about like the Dharma Initiative before the island and all this.
The other part
and it's
is,
like, but that was the biggest show of all time, right? Why didn't, like, how are they able to make so much trash now when no one's watching it? Now, Yellowstone people are watching, to be fair, and it's supposed to be quite good. Yellowstone
think
is good.
about
but
how
1883
much
and all that,
people watch now, though, as well. Like, people, there's so many streaming services. People seem to be watching a dickload more stuff right now.
Yeah, but are they though? Like,
They must be, because, like, how
are
can
they
you
subscribing
generate...
to all of these weirds to watch? Like, do you know?
I wonder, is there other ways of making money?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It just doesn't seem like they could be.
But to be fair, I think you're absolutely right. They must be, because at the end of the day, the balance sheets, like, anyone can run a company in the red and just piss away money, but, like,
Yellowstone has 3 or 4 shows. Like.
But Yellowstone's super popular in America, like, super popular. We gotta remember, we're living in, like, an island of 6 million people, and, like, over there it's 330 million or whatever. Like, so I wonder.
4 shows, man.
No, you're right, yeah, and they're all go back in time 100 years and shit. Like,
there's like 80.
How much does Helen Mirren cost an episode?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And Harrison Ford.
But this is what I mean. Think about how much money.
Get them engines off my land.
Get off my land, Helen. You're grand.
Load up the raffle here.
But how much must an episode cost to make? Like, how much is Helen Mirren getting paid an episode?
Mad money, sure.
Like $500,000.
Must
Harrison Ford, like the Red Hulk, Indiana Jones,
Red
like
Hulk.
You know, the
Harrison Ford
Hulk.
of Red Hulk fame,
known for portraying the Red Hulk in recent non-Captain America film.
Yeah.
Like, so if you think of that, you think of, especially if you're setting something back in like 1923 or 1880, whatever it is. So now you have set pieces that have to come into it.
Yeah, back then, you see, with Yellowstone, it was only implied that they killed the natives, so that actually go back.
Yeah, we're going to do 3 seasons to show you how they actually killed
after
the natives.
a lot of complaints that they didn't show up. No, I'm joking. I'm saying,
that wouldn't surprise me either.
I'm saying after a lot of complaints that enough Indians were killed on Yellowstone, they were like, we have to put out 1883. It's like, let's get them back into teepees and the wigwams. Chase them off our land.
Scalp my ass, bitch.
Yeah, chase them. Kill all them bastards.
Get off my my land.
Yeah, cool stuff.
It's bizarre, but it's a fair point. Like, I would be curious.
Who the fuck is watching all this shit?
How do you generate money?
What's going on? Because
No,
they're saying now, right, that piracy is worse than ever. People are watching more.
Yeah.
Everyone's watching dodgy boxes. No one's watching, like, no one's paying for any of this shit anymore. Yes, we're getting like 15 spin-offs of one show because it's more popular than ever.
The thing is that people will, like, the whole piracy thing is like, you can't subscribe to all the things.
That's bad.
It's impossible.
Well, there's people out there, man, with more money than science, and they don't even look at their bank. Probably the same people that subscribe to us on Patreon, I won't blow them up too much.
Yeah.
But don't forget about it. Don't look at your bank.
What's €5 a month really, folks?
But like, it's the same thing with like Netflix and all that. Like, they're probably just subscribed to them.
Have you heard about the app that monitors your monthly outs and figures out what you're not paying attention? Because it doesn't exist, and you shouldn't download it.
That's not a service that our listeners need to know about. It's all good.
Everything's good here.
Yeah,
we can be more divisive. We can do whatever you want. We can do whatever you want.
Yeah, sure. Look, we'll leave it there.
Yeah.
I've been Rob.
I've been Eamon.
Mini Fuzz. Over and out. Can't wait for the sequel. the sequel.
Not so many.
Yeah. 3 different shows.